And once we get things started, Victoria will have you up first. So have a sip of water.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Have a coffee.
There you go. Exactly. It gets you fired up.
Well, I have my coffee that's been sitting on a desk now for an hour and a half, and it's cold coffee now, but that's okay.
Hey, throw an ice cube in it and you'll be good to go. Okay.
Oh, Brooke, do you see Fred? Fred is saying that he's waiting for the host to let him in.
Didn't set it up to do that. Y'all didn't have to wait for a host.
No,
No.
we hit the thing and got right in.
And got right in.
Yeah.
You should have an option that says just join meeting.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Over here.
Marie, I'm sorry, I'm not even seeing where I could
Okay.
let
On the
him in the
right-hand
meeting.
side of his screen, either the lower
I bet
right.
you he's on Zoom or something using the thing, using the wrong link or something.
Okay, well, Joan gets the gold star for the day for noticing the link that was on the agenda in the PDF. You can
Yes.
click on that and it will jump you right into
Yes.
the meeting.
Right.
I've seen it.
No, I got the gold star, not you, Marie.
Joan definitely
No,
got
I'm
the
just
gold star.
saying that I did see it. And
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Good, Joan?
Yeah.
Yeah, good to talk to you. Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
How are you?
Yeah, the CB2 meetings, remember?
Gotta say hello to Donna, too. Donna, how are
Hey,
you?
good morning, Joe. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Same here.
Freddy's up.
Yes, been a while as well.
Oh, my God.
Good morning, everybody.
oh, there he is. Hi, Fred.
Hi, Fred.
You know
Good.
what I did?
Okay, I need to get at least one. I need to get one more member on so we have the quorum. I mean, we're not voting on anything, but
Freeze on.
so we have Elena on, right? So
Elena is here.
okay, so we have four, so we can start, and then the rest I texted all of them, and then they can just get started. Just log on when they get a chance. Okay. All right, I want to officially call the March Borough Board and the Borough Budget Consultations 10 a.m. hearing to order. If we could all just please rise and say the pledge before the meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I'm just going to go right into the presentations so that we don't take any more time. So, Victoria from the Alice Austin House, you are up first.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you again this year. Thanks so much for being here this morning. The Alice Austin House is grateful to the Borough President and Staten Island City Council members for supporting our meaningful history, photography, and educational programming. Your support allows Staten Islanders of all ages to experience and learn about the historic Staten Island and celebrated early American photographer Alice Austen, 1866 to 1952. 2024 has already been an incredibly busy and exciting year for us. We have worked with new schools in Staten Island, Brooklyn, and Queens. We are now preparing for our spring season in the park with new horticultural family workshops and regular second Saturday art workshops. At the end of January, we were the recipient of a major award for innovation from Richmond County Savings Foundation to reinterpret our public park space. This will transform visitor experiences, creating an outdoor informative exhibition for our growing community members. The museum is proud to continue to provide education and creative arts programming through the City Council's Cultural Immigrant and Coalition of Theatres of Colour initiatives, secured by Council members Hanks and Carr. And we received LGBTQ+ caucus and speaker funds to grow our middle and high school LGBTQ+ arts programs. This year, Borough President funding would support, once again, an outdoor installation opening June 1st in partnership with Photoville NYC. This provides a platform for Staten Island photographers to display their work during our park's busiest season of public programs. The Alice Austen House will host accompanying outdoor lectures and digital slideshows. The installation will consist of 4 cubes covered with printed photographs in weatherproof vinyl and 2 boardwalk banners that will be attached to the Midland Beach boardwalk. This year, one of our banners will be dedicated to highlighting our 4th grade student work completed at PS 20 and PS 29 elementary schools. Our request to City Council members for FY24 is to provide women's history programming, cultural immigration workshops, theatres of colour workshops, after-school arts programs, and LGBTQ programming for Staten Island public school students in each district. The museum's board and staff are proud to serve the community, ensuring that the legacy of Alice Austen is known to Staten Islanders and to preserve this landmark treasure in partnership with the New York City Parks Department. I extend a warm invitation to all to the museum for timed book tours and to enjoy our spring and summer public programming, which includes our newest exhibition and first book publication, Anne Shelton, Worm, Root, Wart and Bane. And that opens on Saturday, this Saturday at 2 p.m. from 2 to 5. The artist is here and will be able to sign books. It's a 312-page book that has been an absolute labor of love and includes essays from international authors as well as myself. And has been, several years worth of research. So we're very, very excited to launch the Alice Austen Press. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Victoria. Some very exciting things happening over at the museum. So I just want to mention that Frank Rapitulo from Councilmember Borelli's office has also joined now. Does any of the board members have any questions for Victoria? No? Okay. Fred, did you have something?
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
I just have a
Right,
note for the
so,
participants.
Moving right along, next we have Joe Tornello from Meals on Wheels.
Thank you very much, Marie and Brooke, and also the representatives, along with our borough president and the city council representatives here today for this testimony that I'm presenting for the borough board hearing for year 2025, and also as we celebrate our 52nd anniversary of service to the Staten Island community, with our first meals delivered in 1972, June of 1972. This year, I will again use this opportunity to describe the status of our plan to build a new Meals on Wheels facility, which will house a larger kitchen, offices, vehicle capacity, and support our delivery and distribution capabilities. Our original plan was to build a new facility on the campus of Seaview, a hospital rehab center and home, but that plan needed to be modified year after year, downsized several times to try to make it affordable, with the cost of having to incorporate the city 90/50 rule in capital grant funding along with our funding for the project. The site would have included a 49-year lease starting at short of $100,000 a year with 3% annual increases. It made it difficult to proceed with that one. An unexpected receipt of a significant grant enabled us to search for an alternate site in the borough that would accommodate our needs, and we succeeded in identifying a site it's a year ago now and submitted a capital grant application to repurpose our city money to that location, which was approved. However, that process could not be completed. There is a tenant, actually two tenants that need to vacate before we could proceed, and we are currently that went on and on. We currently are preparing a new contract agreement for those tenants to vacate, so will enable us to proceed. And hopefully by this summer we'll see that come to fruition. We've reached our capacity. Years ago we reached our capacity in our building here in Port Richmond. We've used every square inch of space available to add refrigeration, freezer space, storage space, in order to maintain our commitment to, number one, never have a waiting list for services, and number two, to provide 2 meals a day. These are beyond what the city standards are. City Council discretionary funding application for fiscal year 24 was submitted, 25 rather, was submitted in January, and refers to our growth and need for support related to dramatic increases in our operating expenses. Of course, for raw food product, disposables, vehicle costs, insurance, equipment costs, etc. We are serving over 1,400 recipients each month, averaging age 84, and over 2/3 over the age of 75, who are still receiving 2 meals daily, each meal meeting the 1/3. I wrote RDA, really it's DRG now, it's a different acronym. Nutritionists approved low-fat, low-sodium meals are responsive to individual also dietary requirements in consideration of physical health and medication status. We provide kosher and halal meals delivered through we deliver them prepared by our subcontractor who is housed at the JCC on Manor Road. Our full-time staff registered nurses ensure that with an initial and annual assessments that all of our meal recipients receive the right nutrition. We're responsive to medically or health-related dietary requirements. People are on dialysis with renal diets, ADA diets, people with dental challenges who need puree meals or chopped meals, so that we're not just sending food out, we're sending the right nutrition. We're in the process of submitting, actually right now, our application in response to the RFP, Department for the Aging, which is now New York City Aging, by the way, the RFP for a 3-year contract moving forward. It seems like every 3 years now, Department for the Aging is bidding out contracts, and that's due at this time. Actually, I'm in the process of trying to complete it today or tomorrow and have it submitted. Working with our staff to address all the questions brought forward in the RFP. That would be starting July 1st of this year, 2024, starting fiscal year 25. We're good. We have strong responses in all the questions of the RFP, and we've always adhered to DFTA standards of service and nutrition standards. We are very concerned, however, that with this RFP, Department for the Aging has indicated that they are no longer going to fund our second meal. We have been doing 2 meals a day since 1972. And we have worked with DFTA over the years to continue to be able to serve the second meal. And I should note that of all of the 23 contracts in the city, we are the only one that does 2 meals a day. The federal standard from the Older Americans Act nutrition programs is 1 meal a day, 1 fixed meal a day. The fact that we do 2 and that we're responsive to people's individual dietary requirements makes us unique, but it also makes us vulnerable. To just whatever extent it's city's fiscal pressures or whatever, we're not going to be funded by DFTA anymore for the second meal. It puts pressure on us to maintain that second meal. We are mobilizing fundraising efforts and identifying a way for us to maintain the second meal on our own with our own funding. We don't want to surrender that. We also don't want to surrender serving all people in need. In the other boroughs, they all adhere to the requirements. They do what's required. I don't put them down, but they provide meals within their funded number of meals, Department for the Aging. Actually, in recent years, Department for the Aging has transferred some of those units to us for programs in the other boroughs that were underserving their contracts. That helped us fund our overserving. So in any case, that's what we're facing at this point. Volunteering continues to be vitally important to us, as over half of our meals are delivered by volunteers, mostly retired older adults. We also partner with 11 special need programs, they have programs where their staff with their consumers on board deliver a number of our volunteer routes. It's a wonderful win-win relationship where those programs provide meaningful activity for they have clients, and we get very meaningful assistance in the delivery of meals, and not a penny is passed between us. The term elder orphan has been coming up more so in my reading, and we're seeing that as well with older adults. When we do an intake to identify who is your emergency contact, and the number of people who don't have an emergency contact. It's just sad to think of somebody who might be 85, living alone, needing meals, and cannot identify somebody for us to call in the case of emergency. We are, I should shut that phone off. So I know who it is. I hung up. It's in the house. We continue to be involved with the New York City, with the Staten Island COAD, the community organizations active in disaster in response to emergency situations. And this goes back to Sandy, and then followed with working with them during COVID. We're proud to say that we didn't miss a beat during COVID, and had meals delivered, had volunteer support, had our trucks on the road, and delivered throughout that period of time. I may be skipping a few things here in the testimony, but it's there. I suppose I'll conclude with that note, and I thank you.
Okay, Joe, I have a few questions. The
Yes,
second meal lost, that's a done deal? You know that you're definitely losing that?
The second meal?
Yes.
Yes, the Department for the Aging set up a Zoom meeting for myself and our admin staff, our CEO, Roseanne, and our CFO back in November. When they announced that RFPs were going to be issued this winter, they had probably 10 DFTA people on the line, from fiscal to program, etc., on this Zoom meeting, informing us that they would no longer fund the second meal. I even raised a question. This is back when the city was announcing 5% cuts to all city agencies, and I said, "Is it related to that?" And they said, "No, it's not that. It's we're just no longer going to fund those meals." You know, our history back, I'm here 16 years now, probably about 12 years or so ago, we were on a line item budget. So we were being reimbursed for our operating expenses, not for the number of meals we delivered. So it didn't matter. We could have been sending people 10 meals a day. It wouldn't have made a difference. When the Department of the Aging converted over to a unit cost budget, this is 10 years ago, at that point, they indicated that they would be paying per meal and that they would no longer pay for our second meal. We negotiated it with the then commissioner, Lillian Barrios Paoli, and worked it out where they paid us pennies on the second meal, reduced our primary meal, but at least we maintained the second meal, which, by the way, we always provided at a loss. I think that meal was being provided. Our fundraising helped make up that gap. That went on for all of these years. It was fine. Literally being paid around $2 per meal on the second meal, where we were spending closer to $4. So that went on fine until this past fall. We were informed that they would no longer pay for that meal.
Okay.
So that's a long answer, Marie, to that. We did. We brought it to the question to the commissioner. We brought it for advocacy. No, we're being brought into line with everyone else in the city. That's basically where we're at.
Okay. All right, and we actually think we're getting rid of these tenants now for good?
Yeah, apparently, those agreements fell apart in the fall.
Okay.
But the owner has been in negotiation with them. Apparently, the tenant is very motivated at this. The one particular tenant, very, very motivated. We're hoping that they are going to be giving a certain number of months. I'm still waiting to sign that contract agreement. And with that, by the way, and for those listening, it's a building that's intact. It's not going to be having to build a building from the ground up that was planned at Seaview. This is an existing building that has all of the features we need, including a large parking area. We currently have 28 delivery trucks. I can't fit another truck. If I want to add another delivery truck, I can't do it. We're adding kosher delivery, kosher halal meals. We're up to 3 trucks there, and they leave our kitchen to go to our subcontractor. So we need that space, and hopefully by this time next year, we'll be there, or at least within fiscal year 25.
I hope so too. Does
Okay.
any board members have a question for Joe?
I do, Joan. Hi,
Yes.
Joe. So now there's the gap between Seaview. I remember when you were going to do that, and everybody was very excited about the Seaview project, but now the
I'm
gap.
sorry. Could you just? I can't hear you that well. Please.
Oh, okay, I'll try and get closer to the, yeah. The gap between Seaview and now, where has the price gone for what you plan on doing? I mean, exponential, I mean, it must have risen, you know, for everything, parts and supplies. Do you have the funding?
Yeah, it's, for example, raw food product. Our chef has seen for chicken, pork, fish, beef, double-digit increases specifically over the recent years with those food prices. Of course, we've seen fuel go up, maybe kind of stabilizing a bit now. I think I'm answering your question.
Yeah,
but
well, I'm more concerned about the demoing or the construction of the new area.
oh, the new.
You had funding, so where now would the funding be at? I mean, it would be.
Well, what made it
Or-
possible for us to look beyond Seaview was a surprise grant we got from Mackenzie Scott. This is the year before last. You may know her. I didn't know the name in the very beginning. This is the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, who, after her divorce, had, I think, 60-something billion dollars and decided to give grants out to not-for-profits across the country. She gave money to 380, I think 86 organizations, including 37 home-delivered meals Meals on Wheels programs across the country. We got on her radar somehow, and she gave us a $4 million grant. That funding made it possible, with the city funding we had, to start looking for our own building and not have to rely on Seaview. That funding on repurposing for the site that I've described is a combination. We went through a long process. Marie is very familiar with this because she was part of the process step by step. How much of the city money gets allocated towards the project, and how much of our own fundraising money got allocated to the project. And that's how that was put together. And so those numbers still work. And it's affordable because, one of those tenants is a restaurant and has a space that's more than double the size of our current kitchen. So that's just a matter of gutting that out and putting in the utilities we need, placing our refrigeration, freezers, kettles, ovens, and all of that as needed, and placing storage. One of the other locations for our office staff and storage is practically turnkey, walking right in and just putting desks down and plugging in telephones and computers. So it's an ideal location, and the parking lot will accommodate all of our vehicles, as well as those 18-wheeler trucks that come in at 5 o'clock in the morning to deliver our raw food product. And that's been an important factor for us wherever we've looked in terms of. So there's a lot of features that go into great board and support, and our fundraising efforts go throughout the year. Commercial, April 11th, we're doing our second annual Boots and Blue Jeans at Staten. It's a lot of fun, and just wear cowboy clothing, and we'll have line dancing. It was a lot of fun last year. We're looking for repeating that again.
Okay.
Did I answer the question?
Yes, thank you, yes.
Okay.
When I was with the city, I was involved with a lot of this kind of construction, and when the period
Right.
of years went by, the price, we just couldn't even afford it anymore. So I just wanted to know, make sure
Yeah.
you have the funding that.
And by the way, the location is easily highway accessible, and we've had growth in all. Actually, it's the Community Board 3 out in the South Shore, Mr. Borelli's district. We've had a lot of growth down in the South Shore. We've got vehicles going down there bringing food to volunteers. A lot of growth is across the island. It's about a third, but there's been a lot of recent growth in the South Shore.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay,
I
so
have to leave,
moving-
by the way, because I'm immersed in this
Yeah,
process.
no, of course. And if there's just want to if anybody has to leave for other requirements too, once you've testified, by all means, feel free to leave.
Thank you all so much.
Okay, next up, we have Jessica Phillips from Historic Richmond Town, and she'll also be giving testimony on behalf of the Staten Island Culturals. Jessica, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much to the Borough Board for hosting this space. I really appreciate it. And like Marie said, I will be representing the 5 CIG members, which is the Staten Island Museum, Staten Island Children's Museum, Snug Harbor Cultural Center and Botanical Gardens, the Staten Island Zoo, and my own organization, Historic Richmond Town. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
So again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to represent all 5 of us. As stewards of city-owned buildings and public spaces focused on public access to culture, the Staten Island CIGs provide accessible and diverse experiences to residents and visitors. We belong to our communities and play an essential role in civic and economic life. We are key to attracting residents and tourists, and we infuse our communities with education, cultural vibrancy, and offer spaces for restful contemplation, should that be what you're into, or active engagement. We steward the island's unique cultural and environmental assets for the public and bring joy through experiences to residents and visitors alike. The CIGs are our partners of the city, and we're often called upon to roll out human service agency programs. And each year, the cultural organizations make their case to our borough and to the mayor to continue to invest in us to roll out these services and to provide these community spaces. We help stabilize the workforce, and we really do serve our communities. Staten Islanders deserve world-class, safe, and accessible cultural spaces, but you don't have to take my word for it. My colleagues have each submitted a paragraph that they read to this group about their organization. So first up is the Staten Island Children's Museum. As you know, it's a popular weekend destination for families from around the region. The Children's Museum recently added new exhibit components, including a 3-level climbing structure that replicates an anthill, a water cannon activity, and my kids love this, they can try and put out a house fire. Also a water table where they can maneuver boats around dams and things. The Children's Museum school programs serve over 30,000 students in-house and in the field. These enrichment programs actively encourage open-ended inquiry and opportunities for self-directed independent discovery. Topics covered include learning science through cooking and history of dance through the lens of music from the Harlem Renaissance. The Staten Island Children's Museum serves more than 100,000 visitors annually, and that includes the students every year. Next up is the Staten Island Museum, and it has been devoted to natural science, art, and history since 1881. This year, the Staten Island Museum exhibition, Taking Care, the Black Angels of Seaview Hospital, highlights incredible underknown history about Black nurses who risked their lives to serve tuberculosis patients and administer the trials for the cure right here on Staten Island. The exhibition opened to sold-out crowds and has been a feature in Staten Island media and other New York City media outlets, and it will be on view through December, so I encourage everybody to go visit it if you haven't already. The museum delivered this major program in the midst of city budget cuts. Their small and mighty education team serves over 11,000 annual students, and 50% of those are from Title I schools. The museum city capital project is expected to go to bid this spring with a groundbreaking in the summer for the infrastructure phase of the expansion into the adjacent building B at Snug Harbor. This will create a state-of-the-art STEM education center for a unique hands-on experience with science about our island's environment. The museum has submitted a fiscal 25 capital request for phase 2 in order to complete this expansion project. And I shouldn't say this because I'm representing my own organization, but my favorite organization, the Staten Island Zoo, it was the first of the U.S. zoos to be founded with an educational mission, a guiding principle that underscores their efforts to educate and engage over 175,000 visitors a year. Dubbed the best little zoo in America, specialized exhibits bring the guests up close to over 1,500 animals from 300 different species. The zoo cares for 30 endangered species in the species survival plan, such as my favorite, the Amur leopard, the cotton-top tamarin, and the Galapagos tortoise. The zoo's educational programs are greatly in demand by principals, teachers, and parents. Approximately 50,000 kids go to formal instruction at the zoo. The programs continue to grow and more students involved with STEM and environmental studies. The zoo also earned a designation as a sensory-friendly institution. So that's wonderful. Recently, the zoo hosted Borough President Vito Fossella, Council Minority Leader Joe Borelli, Councilman David Carr and Councilwoman Camilla Hanks for an announcement of their funding commitment to their new capital project, the Clove Road Entrance and Discovery Zone, which will be featuring a forest trek, which is called a child's eye view of a forest walk. One of the forest trek exhibits will house red pandas. It's a beloved and adorable species that will surely bring additional visitors to the zoo. Continuous dedication to young learners, the zoo will next embark on a redesign of the popular Children's Center. Okay, thank you for bearing with me. Second to last is Snug Harbor Cultural Center and Botanical Gardens. It's an expansive cultural park on Staten Island's North Shore with art, nature, education, and history unite to bring dynamic programming, events, and festivals to our diverse community. Snug Harbor offers a blend of what is artful, human, and cultural with nature, space, beauty, and community for the naturally curious from our Staten Island beyond. The city's only free botanical garden. Can you still all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Snug Harbor's grounds are open daily, offering outdoor exploration and discovery. It serves as a hub for civic engagement initiatives on Staten Island, providing free and subsidized space rentals to community groups and hosting festivals such as Juneteenth, Pakistani Picnic, Polish Festival, and Geek Out Staten Island, and others. The organization serves 10,000 participants annually through robust and unique green education and career opportunities, the vast majority which are youth of color from low-income communities. The Heritage Farm works with local growers to ensure healthy, sustainable grown foods are accessible regardless of income. And last year they donated 5,000 pounds to local food banks that they grew at the campus. The New York Chinese Scholar Garden, Newhouse Center for Contemporary Art, and a variety of food festivals draw a regional audience, enhancing economic impact on our community. Snug Harbor is a longstanding partner to the Borough Arts, offering residencies, exhibitions, and performances to support artists in developing new work. It's the home to the Staten Island Children's Museum and the Staten Island Museum, multiple other cultural organizations and resident artists. Snug Harbor is proud to be an essential community resource and central attraction for residents, day trippers, and tourists. Okay, last, Richmond Town, which has been serving the community for 168 years. It has a 9-gallery museum, a 100-acre living history village, and it has the largest collection of the oldest houses in the entire state of New York, which get to share the diverse histories of our community. In the fiscal year of 2025, the city faces yet another period of financial planning and allocation. And amidst these considerations, it's crucial to underscore the significance of historic Richmond Town to our borough. As a bastion of the borough's rich history and cultural heritage, HRT stands as a testament to our island's past, offering a window into thousands of years of human history and growth. With over 105,000 annual visitors, of which 10,000 are school children, its preservation and continued support are not only vital for maintaining the island's identity, but also fostering tourism, education, and community engagement. Therefore, as the city deliberates its budget allocations, I hope it will prioritize the preservation and promotion of historic Richmond Town, recognizing its indispensable role in the cultural landscape of our community. And in closing, the 5 Staten Island CIGs are vital resources to our borough and city, providing essential services to children, families, and seniors of all income levels every day. We are key drivers of economic development, drawing existing and new residents, businesses, and tourists. Collectively, we employ hundreds of people, we educate tens of thousands of children, we contract with dozens of local vendors and suppliers, and impact the lives of Staten Islanders every day. We are aware Staten Islanders have their first encounter with visual arts. They meet animals from around the world, and they soak up our history and natural environment. We ask for your support and advocacy to protect the city funding that is crucial to our daily operations. Thank you so much for your patience and listening to me.
Thank you, Jessica. Do any board members have any questions for Jessica?
Yes, I do, Joan.
Go ahead, Joan.
Jeff, how are you? Jessica, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I just have a question about outreach. Basically for Snug Harbor, we get calls here that often say to us, well, you never know, we send out notifications to the community and beyond and the board about anything that's going on, especially in Community Board 1. And I get many times calls like, how come you didn't put anything out about Snug Harbor? But of course, we're not getting from Snug Harbor. I'm not sure how their outreach is done and how they send out their notifications. I'm sure they publish them somewhere, but the community board is actually a very good way of getting that message out. We don't get much. And I'm concerned about that because I love Snug Harbor. I mean, my kids grew up going to this, and my grandchildren going to those, all their events there. So if you could, maybe just be similar, you know, they need to get the information to the community boards for their outreach. And it'd be more helpful to them to get, you know,
Will do.
trying to get the South Shore to come to the North Shore, but if they don't know what's going on, then, you know, then maybe even if you just grab a few, it's still more than what you had.
Thank you so much for that, and I will certainly convey that message to Jessica Bador, the CEO of
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, Jessica. Okay, next is Donna Long from Crossroads.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the Borough President's Office and City Council offices for giving us this opportunity to present today. I'd like to give you a little bit background of Crossroads Unlimited, Inc. We are a nonprofit agency that has been providing comprehensive services to individuals impacted by intellectual developmental disabilities, autism, and physical disabilities for the past 19 years. One of the programs we provide is community residences, whereby it enables residential opportunities to provide individuals with IDD, autism, and physical disabilities the opportunity to live in a residential setting in our community that best meets their needs. We provide a rehabilitation program as well. This program assists individuals to acquire, retain, and improve their self-help skills, their socialization skills, and adaptive skills. The activities and environments are designed to foster the development of skills and appropriate behavior, greater independence, and community inclusion. And it's very important that we work with the individual's ability level. Nobody works at the same level, so it has to be designed to meet the needs of each person that is in the program. We also provide community habilitation, and this service helps individuals to learn and to keep skills that they need to live safely and more independently. It promotes inclusion. It takes part in the community events and to be part of our community, which we find is very important. The supports include, but are not limited to, adaptive skills development, assistance with activities of daily living skills, development of social skills, leisure skills, and self-advocacy. Things that many of us just take for granted with individuals on the spectrum or with an intellectual developmental disabilities. It has to be a learned behavior, and it takes time. And this particular program focuses on the individual's specific goals and their level of ability. Our mission is to ensure the quality of life to the individuals we serve, as well as to promote independence, productivity for our individuals. And they are the reason for our existence. Our programs are built around the needs of the individuals we serve, and we strive to provide leadership, commitment, and resources that will enable them to succeed. And as I mentioned earlier, each individual learns at their level of ability. And having a daughter with autism, I can tell you how critical services are to ensure the quality of life. My daughter would not have developed to the level she has today without these services that have been really crucial and very, very important. And so for Crossroads, the funding would enable us to sustain, but most importantly, enable us to expand existing programs. Our Day-Hab program, we would love to be able to create a computer lab We would like to create a musical therapy component, an art therapy component, and ensure the individuals have the ability to broaden their horizons with different skills. And so, as the number of individuals diagnosed with the above disabilities that I mentioned, so too does the need for services, and that needs to be recognized as well. And right now, we have been in the most challenging time for funding for agencies, and it's been very unsettling because you want to do so much, but it's hard to do so much with so little. And so we are thankful to you for your consideration and for, most importantly, recognizing the needs to serve our most vulnerable in our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Donna. Donna, have you seen like any of like, have you gotten like word of any cuts or anything because of the fiscal crisis going on, or?
You know, Marie, what we have seen a cut in, we've asked for a 3.2% COLA.
Okay.
And in the budget, projected budget, it is a 1.5% COLA.
Okay.
We also asked for $4,000 wage enhancement. And these monies are for staff who do the critical work with our individuals on a daily basis and are paid minimally. And so we've been advocating for years for their role to be recognized as they are true professionals in the field, and also to increase their salaries. And unfortunately, for too many years, that has been ignored. And it's become very difficult, and so difficult, in fact, that we have a staffing crisis, and that is statewide, whereby the individuals who would love to stay in the field as a DSP, which is a direct support professional worker, would love to stay in the field, find it difficult because they have to live themselves, and their salaries are just not helping them cut it. And so that has impacted services. And again, that's across the state. And we're feeling it very much so. And as I mentioned before, we have to try to do a lot more with a lot less.
Okay. Does anybody else have a question for Donna? All right. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving right along. Next, we have Manny Rivera from the Pride Center of Staten Island. Manny, the floor is yours.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. My name is Manny Rivera. I'm the Director of Grants and Finances at the Pride Center of Staten Island, and I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm going to be reading a statement prepared by our Executive Director, Carol Bullock, who she sends her regards. The Pride Center of Staten Island is seeking $10,000 in funding from the Borough President's Office to support ongoing provision of mental health counseling services for LGBTQ+ and allied Staten Islanders. According to healthypeople.gov, the lack of sexual orientation and gender identity question on most national and state surveys makes it difficult to estimate the number of LGBTQ individuals and their health needs. The research that does exist suggests that the LGBTQ+ community is faced with health disparities, many of which are linked to social stigma, discrimination, and denial of their civil and human rights. LGBTQ+ community centers like the Pride Center of Staten Island have been identified as protective factors against these disparities. The Pride Center's programs and services will benefit the Staten Island community by providing a welcoming environment where LGBTQ+ and allied individuals can be open about their identities and access resources that will help them thrive. The Pride Center of Staten Island is the cornerstone for Staten Island's LGBTQ+ individuals, families, and allies. There are nearly 500,000 people living on Staten Island, and the Staten Island and the Pride Center of Staten Island's only LGBTQ+ program service provider. The Pride Center offers supportive counseling services for individuals, couples, and family, programming for youth and senior services, an HIV prevention program, which includes free and confidential HIV testing, multi-generational social services and activities, and Staten Island Pride Fest celebrations. Mental health counseling services for LGBTQ+ and allied Staten Islanders is one of our most utilized services at the Pride Center. Over the past several years, demand for counseling services has increased steadily. Between July 2022 till June 2023, the Pride Center of Staten Island provided 390 counseling services for individuals, couples, and families. Between July 2023 till February of 2024, so recently, the Pride Center Staten Island has provided 1,122 counseling sessions for individuals, couples, and families. This represents a 187% increase in the provision of counseling services at the Pride Center of Staten Island. To meet this increased demand and to eliminate the wait list for counseling services, the Pride Center has added a second full-time licensed mental health counselor to the team. Unfortunately, demand remains high and the agency has not been able to eliminate the waiting list. Funding from the Borough President's Office will enable the Pride Center of Staten Island to bring on a consultant to expand counseling services program capacity. The provision of mental health counseling services is one of the ways in which the Pride Center of Staten Island carries out its mission to enhance and sustain the well-being of LGBTQ+ and allied communities. The Pride Center is confident that the proposed project aligns with your commitment to the health needs of vulnerable populations on Staten Island. Investment from the borough and from the city in programs and services that serve LGBTQ+ and allied Staten Islanders sends an important message that Staten Island is an LGBTQ+ inclusive and welcoming borough. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Manny. Does anybody have any questions for Manny? Okay, all right, thank you, Manny. You're off the hot seat. Okay, next, and
Thanks, Manny.
our last presentation is Tina Barberi from the Staten Island Chamber of Commerce. Tina, the floor is yours.
Tina is auditing.
Hi, I'm the controller at the chamber, and Linda just wanted me to be on the call. She didn't give me any
Oh.
testimony to
Okay.
to present. And hi, Marie. It's finally nice to meet you.
You too. How are you, Tina?
Good, good.
We do so much work together. We're
I
always on
know,
the
I know.
phone.
It's nice to put the name to the face.
Yes. Okay. All right. So that's even easier. Okay. So then we are just going to we're just going to adjourn to the next meeting, which is at 4 p.m. So if I could just have entertain a motion from the board members that we can just recontinue in at 4. Thank you, Elena. First, can I have a second, please?
I second it.
Thank you. Okay, I will see. Thank you to all the groups that testified. I appreciate it. And I will bring your concerns and your words back to the borough president. And I will see the board members today at 4 for the continuation.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
very much.
Bye.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye now.